February 18th, earlier on this year, we were supposed to get a main event that featured these two women, and unfortunately, on a week's notice, Santos was out and in stepped Jessica Andrade, who's promptly been finished 3 straight times. So, Matt, when it does come down to this matchup, it is a top-ranked affair. And originally when these two were to face off, Taila Santos, she's still off that title fight, lost. It was a really close fight against Valentina Shevchenko. But at that time, Santos was ranked number 1 in the world and Blanchfield was ranked 10th. Now when you look at this matchup, Blanchfield ranked a spot ahead of Santos. But it still feels like they're really close, and they were close even though they were far apart, if that makes any sense. And you look at a fight like this, Taila Santos feigning some of those strikes. You saw it against Joanne Wood, going up top to land that big shot, getting the finish. Santos against Roxanne Modafferi and the like. Santos has only really struggled against, well, that weird fight where she took on Mara Romero Barella, and then, of course, Valentina Shevchenko. But Santos has leveled up fight in and fight out. Really powerful striker, really picks those power shots well. And for Blanchfield, we've always touched on this. Her fight against Victoria Leonardo with Invicta, where she's landing that double head kick and getting the finish. The striking was always there, but the head movement and the movement on the feet necessarily wasn't. We saw it kind of question when she took on JJ Aldrich a few fights ago. She loses in the volume strike in the first round. She gets the submission in the second round. But where Blanchfield, I found, took a big level up was you're taking on a former champ, Jessica Andrade, and Blanchfield didn't necessarily move her head all that much, but she was able to dominant cruise her way in and around with the movement on the feet, and we really did see a level up in that one. She gets the striking done in the first round. 2 of the judges scored it for her in that first. In the second round, she gets it done, gets a takedown, quick into side control, and she ends up getting the finish. It was a very impressive win for Blanchfield in that one.
It was, but I still feel like this is a much more important fight for her whole career. And I know what people always say, the next fight's always the most important, but I gotta be honest, I just don't think Jessica Andrade looked great that last match. It was on short notice, it was against a fighter who is much bigger than her, and I know she's had success at the weight class, but still, there was a lot of oh by the ways for Andrade, and I know she hasn't looked great since that fight, so it's difficult for me to say. But again, taking a fight in a main event situation on short notice isn't really doing that fighter any favors, and I agree with all the improvements, at least the movement that Erin Blanchfield had, but I just don't know if we can take a ton from that performance, because what has Andrade struggled with, especially as of late? It's been her grappling defense, it's been her ability to just take punches to the head. It really has been a lot of her game, and I worry that she has been slowing down, whereas against Taila Santos, you're not really going to worry as much about the one pop power that Jessica Andrade has, but she's got the volume, she's got the lasting ability, and those are going to be really important because people like to overhype a lot of prospects on their way up, right? They want to say, hey, Miranda Maverick might be the second best fighter in this division after she had 1 win. I'm just making fun of you, John Nanik. You're very smart and I like you a lot. But for Erin Blanchfield, she really has that had that progression to her career where it's, hey, you're fighting Miranda Maverick, you're fighting Macy Barber. Fighters that people really do know and enjoy. And when you beat other prospects, it does put you a step ahead of them. And in her last time out, beating Jessica Andrade, having that one big name on your resume does show that you belong at this stage. But Taila Santos is going to prove, hey, you're ready for a title shot if you're able to beat her. Because Santos, I know she lost the fight against Valentina, but it's not like she got 50-45 and had no success whatsoever. Even on the feet, she was able to have a little bit of success when she was able to get in Valentina's face. And for all the strengths that Blanchfield does have, we haven't seen her have to fight backwards all that often. It's been moments here, moments there, but we've never seen her on the back foot consistently, round after round, where she is eating a lot of damage. So I wonder, A, can she implement her kicks if she is backing up a lot in this matchup? Because she does have very powerful kicks for being such a grapple-heavy fighter. You don't often see that. Normally it's just a lot more boxing. But I do think Blanchfield has all the tools to go out there and at least challenge for the title. It's difficult to say, hey, she'd beat Alexa Grasso because Grasso is so talented, but Blanchfield has shown us fight in and fight out that she is making those progressions toward the top of the title, or towards the title picture. And I think that's really important to see. It's not just like she started out really strong and is maintained as the same fighter.
I don't know. I mean, Blanchfield, yeah, she's added different bits and tools to her game, but she fought a high-level competition with Invicta. The only loss on Blanchfield's record is a split decision to Tracy Cortez. Strong argument that Blanchfield had won that one. And for Santos, her last time out, I thought that Shevchenko at least convincingly won 3 of those rounds.
I thought she won, definitely.
But if you do consider it, a lot of folks have thought that Santos had won. The lasting image at the end of the fight, Santos' eye is swollen up, and you need a stake to get that one under control. But we haven't seen Santos, and now all of a sudden from 1 to 4, you're leapfrogged a little bit in the divisional rankings, considering now Shevchenko's 1, and then you have Fiotto, and then Blanchfield after that. In the original video for this one, I thought about throwing in a 7-minute clip and saying, see you later, alligator. I'm not making a video on it, but we both took Taila Santos to get the win in this fight, and she was favored to win it. Now she's the underdog, so I'm really eager to see who the fans have on Tapology in this one. I'm going to say over-under. We're going to go with the fighter that continues to win, and I'm going to say 70% Blanchfield in this one.
I think it's going to be over because of recency bias.
And it is. So 819 total votes, 83% Blanchfield, 73% by decision. For the 17% that have Santos, 79% by decision. So the fans see this one going by decision. And I think that kind of adds credibility, even though more have Blanchfield to win, that you're taking on a really tough test in Taila Santos, somebody that maybe Blanchfield can't finish. And for me not to have Blanchfield to beat Andrade on that short of notice, I don't do that to discredit Blanchfield whatsoever. I talk about the level ups. Her boxing has continued to get better. I think her striking accuracy is better. A lot of punches will end up hitting her arms because she leaves them out there a lot to block shots. And it's worked for her at women's flyweight. So we'll see how that continues on. She's also a fighter that has had in the past aspirations to fight at 135. Even almost had a fight booked at 135 in the UFC. So when it does come down to this one, Matt, the pinpoint accuracy of Taila Santos that we kind of haven't talked about so much because the hype is on with Erin Blanchfield. But who do you have in a matchup like this?
This is one of those fights where you're going to look dumb no matter what you say. Because if I say Erin Blanchfield's going to go out there and dominate using her wrestling and her top pressure to really open up her ground game, then Taila Santos is probably going to 30-27 her way to a dominant decision. But if I say Santos is going to do that, then she's probably going to get ground and pounded in the first round. I have a difficult time with this matchup because both fighters have very clear paths to victory, but they're very different with how they're going to go out there and pursue them. I do think the distance management ability of Taila Santos is going to be a big factor in this fight. If she's able to use her kicks, and I don't think she should use a lot of them to make it very clear, because that's just another opportunity for Blanchfield. Not even get a takedown, just get a trip and end up on top in that position. But I think if Santos can use some of those kicks early, it's really going to help open up her game. All that being said, I'm going to switch my pick from the original 5-round main event fight that they were going to have, because I do think Blanchfield's going to be able to go out there and use the wrestling for at least 2 of those 3 rounds. And all that means is, if you stay on top for 2 minutes, you're probably going to win that round. And if you do it again for the second one, you'll do the same. So I've got Blanchfield in the matchup, but this is as close of a fight as any on the card.
The same people that are out there every week in the comments section that say you got to pick more underdogs, you got to agree on every single pick, I got to win every time, they're not going to like this. I still have Taila Santos in the fight. The reason being is the Jillian Robertson fight, she completely dominated in the grappling exchanges. The Molly McCann fight, she dominated in the grappling exchanges. The only fight that Taila Santos heavily struggled at in terms of the takedowns, and it was somewhat of a close fight on the rewatch, is the fight against Mara Romero Barella. And we haven't seen that since. We've seen a level up from Santos in the defensive grappling abilities. Erin Blanchfield is that next level fighter.
I think she would out-grapple Jillian Robertson.
That's where you're going to see it tested. But for me, I still have Santos in this fight. I think the striking can carry her to a victory. So we're split. And you got to consider the last time out, that was originally scheduled to be a 5-rounder. This one now at 3. Matt going with Erin Blanchfield. I'm going with Taila Santos. 83% on Tapology going with Blanchfield, so I can see the wave of support down there in the comment section. But make sure you let us know who you have in this fight. A big-time prospect matchup in our next one. Fernie Garcia looking for UFC win number 1 against Road to UFC winner Rinya Nakamura. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say, let's get into it.